I spent 3 years with Angus, devoting myself to him completely. It wasn't until I got pregnant that he finally agreed to marry me, promising a lifetime of love and devotion. Before I could even say yes, everything sadly changed. The very next day, he took me to the hospital and insisted that I terminate the pregnancy. End it, he ordered. I will never have a child with anyone other than Hallie. I swallowed the pain, begging him to spare our baby. Later I found out why. His first love had come back. That's when he started calling me unpleasant, a clingy burden he couldn't shake off. However, he forgot one thing. I was never with him for love. Among the race of spirit fairies, we believe in repaying debts. If we fulfill a benefactor's 100 wishes, our debt would be cleared. In the past 3 years, I had already granted 97 of Angus' wishes. Only 3 more remained. Once I fulfilled them all, I could finally go home. Even if you have that child, I won't acknowledge it. It'll just be unwanted, said the same man who just yesterday had promised me the grandest wedding. In the obstetrics ward, all pretense shattered as he glared at me, his voice cold. You will end this, right? I stared at him, stunned by how desperate he was to deny our child and run back to the woman he truly loved. My mind drifted back to the moment I first told him I was pregnant, how Angus had been overwhelmed with joy, tears in his eyes. Swallowing the ache in my chest, I forced myself to stay calm. Does this count as your 97th wish? So many of his wishes had been the same. He just wanted me to say I loved him. I had once told Angus that after fulfilling 100 of his wishes, I would leave, but because I wanted to stay by his side, I had held back from granting the last few. Now, he only saw my words as a cruel reminder of his betrayal. You don't need to bring up the past, he snapped. You were never anything more than Hallie's replacement. I met his gaze with equal steadiness. So, does this count as wish number 97? Yes, he said angrily. I'm begging you. Just end it. The way he rushed me, as if I were some pitiful mistress, made my chest tighten. Yet, I pushed the pain down, turned to the doctor and said calmly, all right. Angus froze, caught off guard. He hadn't expected me, the woman who once gave him everything, to agree so easily. Lying on the procedure table, I felt the medical procedure as the doctor performed the termination. The physical discomfort curled me into a ball, but the pain of betrayal cut even deeper. Just yesterday, everyone believed Angus was hopelessly in love with me. Now he stood outside the procedure room waiting, as if he couldn't feel at ease until he was certain our child was gone. As I lay there, undergoing the procedure, he was right outside speaking to his friend Milo. Make sure Hallie never finds out about this, he said. She'd be furious. Besides, Hallie is the only woman I ever want to spend my life with. At 6 months pregnant, I could still feel the baby inside me, its presence fading. Maybe this child was never meant to exist. Angus, if you loved that woman so much, why did you even marry me? Milo's voice was sharp with accusation. And what about Allrose? You're really going to make her end a pregnancy she's carried for 6 months just because Hallie came back? He continued. You're doing this because you know Allrose loves you. You think you can do whatever you want to her, don't you? Everyone knew Milo had feelings for me. He had always wanted to take me away from Angus. Angus let out a harsh laugh. The only reason I kept her around was because she looked like Hallie. Allrose had taken years of happiness from Hallie. This is what she owes her. If she knows what's good for her, she'll disappear and never come back. Knowing that I was just someone else's replacement tore me apart inside. So what he said and did was all a lie. I was never special, just a stand-in for the woman Angus truly loved. Every bit of love I thought we had was nothing more than my own mistaken belief. In that moment, my world collapsed. Angus didn't even try to spare me. He wanted me to get the message and leave as soon as possible. Even as I lay in that cold, sterile room, undergoing the procedure, he stood outside, saying things that hurt me deeply. Outside, I could hear his mocking tone as he talked to Milo. You like her, right? Take her. Want to bet if she'd ever wanted to go with you. There was a time when, if Milo so much as looked at me, Angus would pull me into his arms, holding me close in silent warning. Now, I was nothing more than something to be handed off. I stared at the tiny form that had just been taken from me, swallowing the pain welling up in my chest. I reminded myself, just 3 more wishes, then I could finally go home. Among the spirit fairies, all debts must always be repaid. Angus had saved my life once and I owed him 100 acts of gratitude before I could return home. 3 years, over 1,000 days and nights by his side. Through all those years of his love, I had countless chances to remind him to make a wish, but I never did because I wanted to stay. After the medical procedure, Milo placed a cup of warm water in front of me. Thanks, I said softly, but my eyes were already on Angus. Angus just smirked, turning to Milo. Even after I made her go through this, she still won't leave with you. I simply said, once I completed your last 3 wishes, I'll be gone for good. Angus waved me off as he strode away. I'm done playing your little 100 wishes game. You don't need to put on this act to hold on to me, he added without looking back. No matter what you do, you'll never compare to even a single strand of Hallie's hair. I didn't touch the warm water Milo had brought me. I didn't want to owe anyone anything anymore. Instead, I went back to the Davidsons' home. The place was buzzing with music and laughter. Angus had thrown a grand party, filling our home with guests. The moment I stepped inside, every gaze turned to me, expectant, as if waiting for a show. And then I saw her. My eyes scanned through the crowd, finding her instantly. In that moment, I finally understood why Angus had wanted me to say I loved him, because all along, he had never really been looking at me. He had only ever been seeing that woman in my face. Angus looked completely caught off guard when he saw me. What are you doing here? Can't you stop following me like some persistent leech? He must have forgotten. He was the one who begged me to come. Just a week ago, he insisted on throwing me a birthday party. I told him I didn't like big gatherings. Yet, that man wouldn't take no for an answer. Then I'll make a wish, he said. I wish for my Rose to attend the birthday party I planned for her. Will you grant me that? Look at him now. The party had become a grand welcome for Hallie. Here, I was nothing more than an unwelcome guest. I swallowed the humiliation and bitterness. I've come, just like you wished. This is the fulfillment of your 96th wish. Angus, desperate to distance himself from me in front of Hallie, acted like I was nobody to him. I had done what I came to do, so I simply left the place. However, Hallie's call stopped me. I heard that while I was gone these past 3 years, you've taken care of Angus, Ms. Traverse. It must have been difficult for you. Hallie let out a delicate sigh, feigning innocence. While I was by the lake just a moment ago, the ring Angus gave me slipped off into the pool. Why don't you take the ring, Ms. Traverse? It's worth $800,000. Consider it a payment for your troubles. I had no interest in entertaining Hallie's little show and continued to leave. By then, I could hear the subtle edge of displeasure in her voice. She let out a dramatic sigh. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. Ms. Traverse just had a medical procedure, didn't she? I see. So you can't swim. That was my mistake for assuming too much. Angus hurried to reassure Hallie. I told you, the child with her was just an accident. The only children I'll ever have will be with you. I heard his hurried steps catching up to me. Angus stopped me from leaving. Those last 3 wishes you mentioned, do they still count? I told him they did. Of course, Angus didn't believe I was truly repaying a debt, but he was confident that I would say anything just to keep clinging to him. Watching him grow impatient, urging me to retrieve the ring from the lake, I suddenly recalled a moment in the past. Back then, when Angus's family heirloom had slipped into the water, he had held me close after I returned from taking the golden bracelet. The man trembled with worry as he scolded me to not do something like that again. But now, he didn't even think twice. So I stepped into the lake. The chilly water rushed up, making it hard to breathe. Inside the house, laughter and music carried on oblivious. I dove deeper into the pool, pushing through the uncomfortable cold. Suddenly, something sharp at the bottom hurt my feet. It didn't take long before my fingers closed around the ring. By the time I surfaced, my abdomen ached and there were marks on the soles of my feet. All I saw in Angus's eyes was disgust. Can you stop with this dramatic act? It's unpleasant. I placed the ring firmly in Hallie's hand. This is your 98th wish, I said to Angus before walking away. I forced myself to ignore the discomfort at my feet and went past the Davidsons' house, all aware that Angus stared at me with a stunned gaze. A replacement was just a replacement. Once the real one returned, the replacement became nothing more than a lonely figure, barely hanging on. Though my feet were hurt, the emotional pain felt far worse. The sadness spread to my physical body, like an unbreakable barrier. I spent the next 3 days in the hospital. During that time, I heard that Angus never left Hallie's side. He told people I was just a clingy person who wouldn't let go. I felt awful, sick, restless, unable to sleep. Then, a news notification caught my eye. Prince Angus's woman exposed in compromising content. I clicked on its link. The woman in the video was clearly visible. She was Hallie Palmer. Even the tiny mole on her neck was identical. In the comments, some people insisted the video was AI generated. I knew Angus had hired people to spread that lie, but the public wasn't convinced. No way, this is AI. The tech isn't advanced enough to make fingers look this natural. A message from Angus popped up on my phone. I'll pay you. Take the blame. Say the woman in the video is you. I stared at the message for a long time, my heart feeling as if it had been deeply hurt. Take the blame and claim that I was the one in the video? If I did that, I'd never be able to show my face in a straight again. I swallowed the pain and typed back. So, is this your 99th wish? He agreed without hesitation. He just wanted me to clear Hallie's name as soon as possible.